Let's bring in Florida Republican Congressman Mike Haridopolos. Congressman, there are, and you might have heard Senator Warner say that this thing is a quagmire in his view. How do you see the way the war in Iran is being prosecuted now?
Well, first, John, I want to express my condolences to, of course, the servicemen who were killed recently. As a father of a serviceman myself, of course, we're always thinking about them. And this is a conflict. And in that conflict, there will be casualties. And this is the challenge we face. Remember, thousands of Americans have been killed by Iranians since 1979. More recently, of course, tens of thousands of Iranians were killed by their own regime. So this is the only way to describe it, is they are in an evil regime who have no respect and they only understand force. The president tried to give them grace recently by bringing them back. And unfortunately, they only understand force. And so this is why I support the president completely annihilating this regime. Let's put them in the ash heap of history, much like we did the Soviet Union, so that a new group of people can come in and finally give these people the rights they deserve. Their days of projecting power, I think, now are over, as we're looking at everything. And we're going to have to use, again, that term unconditional surrender, just like we did at the end of World War II against the Japanese and the Germans.
There's been a lot of criticism of the president, especially from the Democratic side of the aisle, but even some Republicans are wondering about the situation. Here's a headline from Politico. Trump's $1.5 trillion defense budget is in trouble, and it reads, prominent House Republicans contend the narrow $60 billion proposal is important enough to warrant immediate attention. But top Senate Republicans are already tamping down expectations that they'll quickly sign off on the smaller House defense funding proposal. Tell us where that stands. I mean, what do you think the House and the Senate are going to do regarding this defense budget that the president wants?
Well, we need to make sure our soldiers have the best weapons available. As you know, we lost over $90 billion worth of weapons in Afghanistan because of the debacle of Joe Biden. And so we want to make sure we project peace through strength. And the only way you have it is when the military is fully funded. And that's what we're looking to do. Beyond these measures, we are committed to making sure that we win this conflict. This is a long-term goal. As you know, the Iranians have been flooding the zone, meaning that they're giving money to the Houthi, Hezbollah, Hamas, and these other animal groups that simply kill people. And we need to step up and make sure they are backed. The Democrats, of course, tried their methods with President Obama, and it failed miserably. We gave them hundreds of billions of dollars. Instead, we only got more and more terrorist attacks. And so the president is trying to simply understand the language of reality, and that is peace through strength. And he's going to continue to hit this regime that has no regard for life and make sure, I think, as the general said before me, correctly so, we need to destroy their ability to project power outside the region and within their own country. And then and only then will they finally sue for peace terms, so we can finally have peace in the Middle East and long-term stability, which is so necessary in this region. And finally, of course, freedom of the seas, which we do not have right now in the Strait of Hormuz.
I want to turn your attention to something that I know is close to your heart. You're a member of the Financial Services Committee, the Science, Space, and Technology Committee. There is something out called the Space Ready 2.0 Act. Tell us a little bit about it and why you think it would be beneficial to this country.
Well, as the subcommittee chairman for space here at the Congress, it is so vital we stay #1 in space. Senator Ashley Moody, also from Florida, we're committed to making sure that we stay the launch pad to the stars. Last year, over 192 launches from the United States. We are dominant once again in space, as evidenced by the Artemis II launch, of course, back in April, successfully going around the moon for the first time since 1972. But at Kennedy Space Center and other NASA locations, there's some antiquated spots. We need to make sure we continue to upgrade those spots. And this will allow us to use private dollars, not just taxpayer dollars, to improve those. Because remember, it's SpaceX and Blue Origin and so many other great companies that are emerging in this field. And we want to allow those public-private partnerships to be used. And that means taxpayer savings and, most importantly, the new technology and opportunity that comes not only for jobs, but innovation when you create a stronger infrastructure. And that's why Senator Moody and I are pushing this forward, and we're confident we can get it done.
China is throwing a lot of effort at its own space program and attempting to land astronauts on the moon in the near future. How concerned are you about China and whether its space ambitions are entirely peaceful?
Oh, we have grave concerns about China. You know that they are doing nefarious things all over the world. They steal technology. They undercut, of course, environmental opportunities. But as far as space is concerned, we're going to beat them back to the moon. We have a plan to get there by 2028, led by, of course, President Trump and Jared Isaacman, our dynamic new leader at NASA. That's why we fully funded NASA last year at over $24 billion and put an additional $10 billion in the big bill passed back in July, because we want to stay number one in space, and we're going to make those investments, and our private partners now can join that fight so that we dominate, because you're going to have the ultimate high ground. You can't be number one on Earth if you're number two in space, because we rely on GPS technology and so many other things to make sure our soldiers have the weapons of war necessary should a conflict break out.
Congressman Mike Haridopolos, Republican of Florida. Congressman, thanks.
Thank you, John.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.